Happy Homebrew Wednesday, guys. I think this is number 3. We'll see. Today I'm going to be brewing the Chur Pale Ale from one of the Grainkids. See a lot of people asking about the Grainkids, which ones are the best and stuff. I have brewed one before, which was the Kraken IPA, which is really excellent. And so the Chur IPA, the Chur Pale Ale, I just got, and for those who don't know much about them, I'm going to take you through the process and talk about a few things that I've been doing along the way. So here we go. So when you get a Grainkid, it comes all vacuum sealed. Ignore that one, I accidentally sliced it when I was opening the box this morning. Vacuum sealed with everything and pre-crushed. Yes, puppy.
Everybody come to my house.
Yes. That's my assistant. So yeah, as I was saying, you get everything, detailed instructions, grain, water treatment, Irish moss, everything that you need. I first got one of these kits when I first bought the Grainfather, because I wanted to, I'd never brewed on it before, and these are designed for the Grainfather, so I thought it was a great place to start. So one of the things that I was thinking about when buying the Grainkids is, obviously it's pre-packaged, just everything's done for you. I was curious to see how much more expensive it is buying it this way as opposed to buying all the ingredients yourself from somewhere, my local supplier, Grain and Grape in Yarraville, which is really good. So I did some price comparisons. Now unfortunately I can't get every hop in this recipe, so it's a bit of a guess, but what I did is I looked at the amounts of the different hops that I would need and the average price for the amount of hops, and I'm on the grain bill at Grain and Grape, so I get my grain at the cheapest possible rate. Anyway, I did all the tallies and it worked out to be about $74. Charlotte's friends just arrived. $74 if I was to buy everything, and the grain kit only costs $54. Now I know that I'm not buying in bulk with the hops being the most expensive thing, but you know, I don't really want to be storing a buttload of hops at the same time as well. So this is how the grain comes. It's all pre-crushed, ready for use on the Grainfather. I've got my own mill, and I usually do this step myself, but it's, you know, they've optimised the grain for the crush for the Grainfather. I've already put in the grains in here. I've also just recently upgraded the free upgrade for early adopters for this grain cap, which is much better. And Charlotte's getting into the grain. Don't steal it all, Charlotte. We've got to put it in. So I've just started the mash, recirculating the wort. Looks a bit different from a standard Grainfather because I've made some modifications with a stainless steel ball valve and quick disconnect, and just a big long silicone hose. Works really well to move things in and out, and I've got a quick disconnect for the counterflow chiller as well. So we're on to the boil now. We've probably about 40 minutes into the boil of a 90-minute boil. We've added in our 10 grams of Pacific Jade, and took a gravity reading. My final gravity is supposed to be 1054. I'm coming in at 1058, so my efficiency is quite high, which is totally fine with me. Yeah, so I've still got probably another 45 minutes or so of the boil, so I'm likely to, I don't know what my final efficiency is, but I'm sure I'll update you in good time. Yeah, I was hoping to catch the boil, but we've had to look after the kids in between things, which is another plus about this system. You can kind of just do what you need to do, and then leave it do its thing. Come back when the recipe says it's time. So it's a win-win. You can brew and look after the family, or do jobs, or just relax, sit and have a beer. Alright, we're at the final hop stand at the moment. Probably about 5 minutes into a 15-minute hop stand. I've got all the counterflow chiller set up, and the carboy sanitised, and the milk crate ready to transfer, because this is a glass one. It's really good in many ways, but it's so damn heavy and easy to break. So that's happening. All in all, I haven't taken a final gravity reading yet. I'll do that in just a minute. But I believe we're going to end up higher, significantly higher than what I was expecting. So what was going to be a 5 point something % beer may actually end up being above 6. But like I said, I'm not too bothered about that. Yeah, I'll do a recap once I've finished everything and pitched the yeast. It's been a bit of a hectic day with the kids, but it's all good. It's all possible with the Grainfather. So that's it. The brew day cut short a little bit because I got waylaid with kids, etc. But yeah, went pretty smoothly. I was really happy again. Something quite odd though. I was supposed to hit a OG of 1054. The OG ended up being 1070, so I overshot that by quite a bit. Must have had a nice efficient brew. Don't know. My efficiency's been going a bit up and down lately, but that's okay. I'm quite happy with a 6 point. Yeah, I mean, plugged it into beer spit to see what it would be. 6.8. I'm expecting 6.8%. So that's pretty good. Well, efficient. We'll call that efficient. I also just wanted to add a little addendum to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. I was curious to see what premium I would be paying for these Grainkids, because they're a great introduction to all grain brewing, I find. I mean, I've got probably 15 to 20 all grain brews behind me, so I'm by no means a pro, but I've done a number of them before. But as I said, when I got a new Grainfather, I bought one of these Grainkids, the Kraken Black IPA, which was really good. Just because everything was kind of done and had all the steps laid out. Anyway, I digress. So, this is what I've done. These are the ingredients in orange. What you need, so the Chur IPA, you need these hops, this malt, and this yeast, 2 packets, Irish moss, and there's also a sodium, what is it? Carbonate? Calcium sulfate in there as well, which I didn't bother doing. And that costs $53.90 Australian plus $10 shipping. Of course, if you spend over $100, shipping's free. So anyway, it comes to $63. I was curious to see how much I was paying in premium. So here is how much hops I would need to use. The size of bags that I would buy. I used to store hops, but I've got so many hops from different years, which I'm probably going to do some sort of mongrel brew if I ever get around to it and just use everything in the fridge. I've got stuff from all the way back to 2012, so that could be interesting. Anyway, and these are rough prices from Grain and Grape. 40 gram hop packets are $6.50. 80 gram hop packets are $9.95. So if I just went and bought a whole one of these, whole packet of hops to do this, note that I rounded this 120 grams to 100 just to make calculations a little easier. This would be the price for the hops, and these would be the price of the malt. Now bear in mind I'm also on the grain book, so I get it at the lowest price. Then you've got $5.50. This actually should be times 2, so let's change that to 11. Yeah, so it's $82 if I was to buy everything for this brew from Grain and Grape. Now, I know some of you are thinking, yeah, but you could save your hops and you can do all that. I'm not going to. I don't have the space. I don't have the storage. But if I did, this is the percentage of the hops that I would use at the packet. This is the cost of this that would be used. So even if I save what hops I don't use for another brew, it still ends up costing me $71 as opposed to $63.90. Now, I know that they probably buy in a lot bigger bulk, especially with the hops. So there's a saving there, but I kind of was half expecting to be paying a slight premium for the Grainkids because it's all packaged, vacuum sealed, shipped to my door. Turns out, in this case, for this particular brew, I'm not. So I'm pretty happy about that. I thought you might find that interesting. And anyone who's wondering about the Grainkids so far, well, especially with the more hoppy beers, I would imagine that it would be a pretty good deal. Yeah, so anyway, I'll check in and give you an update with how the pale ale goes. Once we dry hop it 5 days in, I'll probably check in once it's ready to drink. Anyway, until that time, I hope you guys continue to brew great beer, drink great beer, and we'll see you in the next video.